What's up, everybody? I got 3 things that led up to me getting back into the military. Check it out.
Hoochie mamas, up with it.
Boo! Where Craig at? Boo! Oh, he in the house.
I'm Jerry.
And Sheila.
And this is my wife, Sheila. And we are here today in Dominican Republic, Malecon, Santo Domingo, hanging out. The weather is okay, but we about ready to talk to you about 3 things that led me to getting back into the military. My wife is gonna talk to y'all a little bit, and then she gonna rejoin us a little bit later. How you doing today, baby?
I'm good.
Y'all know she pregnant, so we want to know how she feeling right now.
Yeah.
How you feeling? My mom's always asking that too.
Every day. Today, I'm good.
Más o menos, okay.
Yeah.
So.
So. Yeah,
Okay.
so. But it's okay. I'm happy.
That's good. All right, everybody. 3 things that led me to getting back into the Army. The first thing was I was a bootleg promoter in North Carolina. Number 2, I was homeless in Virginia and living in my car. Number 3, having a baby with no health insurance. Those are the 3 things that led me to wanting to get back into the military. And I'm gonna break those 3 things down for y'all right now. All right, everybody. My wife's gone, but she gonna come back, so y'all ain't gotta worry about it. Y'all just gotta stick with me and we gonna be straight. First of all, I joined the military in 1993 and I got out in 1996. I was an infantryman, mortarman, and I was in Schofield Barracks, Hawaii. It was cool, but at the same time, I learned a lot, seen a lot, did a lot, but I wasn't happy because it was a lot of training and I couldn't see the reason why that was happening for me. And then I told y'all, once I got out of the military, I went back to Kansas City and lived with my pops. And then after a little while, I moved to North Carolina. And after I did that, I was with my boy, and that's where I left off on the last part of the story. Now we're gonna go ahead and pick that thing up. Me and my boy was working. One day we just decided, hey, we love music, we love listening to Tupac, Biggie, and also like Luke, 2 Live Crew and things like that. So one day we was like, hey man, let's go ahead and see if we can, and we had never done this before. Let's see if we can go ahead and get somebody to come to Fayetteville, North Carolina. And I don't know exactly how it came about when we had that conversation, but I do remember us going ahead and trying to make that thing work. And what we did was, we said, man, what can I do? So we got the cassette tapes, because back then, remember, this is like in '97. We got the cassette tape, flipped it over with 2 Live Crew. And we was like, man, I wonder if we can get these guys to come. So we grabbed that cassette tape, it had the name on the back, we looked up the number on the computer, on the internet, and we called them. And we was just like, and I'm telling you, we was 2 young guys, like 25, 26 years old at the time. I think my boy was like 24, and we was like, yo, hey, what do we gotta do to try to get 2 Live Crew to come to Fayetteville, North Carolina? And they was like, let's tap you into the manager. So the manager got on the phone, his name was Dap, and he was a cool dude, he was straight, and I was like, man, what can we do? And he was like, well, you need like $5,000 and I'll get you the rider, blah, blah. We was like, man, we ain't got no $5,000, but we knew we had a vision on what we could do, and we knew people want to see what was going on. They want to see 2 Live Crew in North Carolina, and that's what we did. And so, long story short, we decided to go ahead and do it, but we try to make it work. And he was like, well, you ain't got to pay the money up front. You ain't got to do that. But what you can do is, y'all can come up with half the money, and then when they get there, y'all pay the other half. And we was like, all right, okay, cool, we did it. We didn't really have the half, but we kind of made it work. We figured it out. We came up with some money to get half the money, but we talked him down a little bit because he was like, all right, okay, we'll take out the flight, we'll take out this, because they were already gonna be in the area. So that kind of helped us out. So that's how we turned into a little bootleg promoters, you know what I'm saying? And so we made it happen. The crazy part is, once they got there, and I'm gonna tell you with that rider, before I talk about how they got there, they asked for alcohol, food, things like that, hotel, we got them a hotel. We got them like 3 rooms, something like that. And I'm telling you, man, we was young kids just trying to make it. We didn't have the money, I promise you we didn't have the money. But we was just trying to make it. And so we was scraping and grinding, trying to get it. And so once we did that, and we was like, man, they coming. So that we set the date, had flyers, we pushed out information, we promoted it. We had a club, it was called the Big Apple. And we went ahead and made it happen. We brought them in. And so when they got there to the hotel, we met them, we was like, man, okay, that's Marquise. This is China, man. We was like, man, these dudes look a little bit different than what we kind of pictured them as, you know what I'm saying? It was kind of like a little ghetto. I'm gonna throw it out there. They were a little ghetto. They had like 3 females and it was like, they looked like some hoochie mamas or whatnot. It is what it is. But anyway, so they came, they did what they did. We gave them what they had to do. But the problem was, we ended up putting ourselves in a hole. We started, I ain't gonna lie, we started writing bad checks and things like that. Like I said, just doing stupid stuff to try to make it happen. Because we felt like on the back end, we would get the money back if the people showed up. You know, if we can get like 500 people, man, we can make a killing. But we didn't get the 500 people. We sit up there and was like, yo, man, long story short, we ended up getting like 100 people in the venue. We had to pay the rest of the money. We told that, we're like, man, we ain't got it. He was like, yo, we gonna need that money. So they did the show. Everything was straight, it was a little raunchy. I had never seen anything like that before in my life. The way they was getting down, y'all can read between the lines. I can't really put that out there what they was doing, but it was crazy. I'm gonna tell y'all, it was wild. So once that happened, everything was over, they were like, hey, what's up with my money? And we was like, man, hey, the door didn't produce what we thought it was gonna produce. So we ain't got it. He was like, no, y'all got it. I know, we seen the people coming through the door. And we was like, nah, I'm telling you. Some people we had to entice with a couple freebies. You know, some people we had to give a little discount. So everybody that came really didn't pay, but most people did, but most of the 100. But that wasn't enough to cover what we needed to pay them. So we ended up just, you know, washing it out. He was like, all right, no problem. Give me what you got. They took the whole door. They took all our money. We ain't had nothing. We had security. We had to pay them guys. We had a lot of different things we had to cover. And so we just didn't have it. So that was the start of, in my opinion, my downfall, what caused me to lead to having to continue to move on, because I didn't have no money after that. I mean, we had a fun, we had a little reputation, you know, but at the same time, that was it. We didn't have no money, and money is what ruled the world. So after that, moving on to the second thing that led me to joining the military for the second time, and that was homelessness. So I'm gonna give y'all the rundown on what happened with that, which is crazy. And I'm gonna tell y'all this, everything that I tell y'all is 100% true. I might forget a couple minor things, I might forget a couple people's names, I might forget this, but I'm here to tell you, what I tell y'all on this channel is 100. I don't play around, I don't have time for games, I don't have time to be lying to nobody. This is my life, this is what I live, my experiences. And I got receipts, and my boys can tell you what the deal was when we was living this. So it is what it is.
Damn.
All right, so back to what I was saying. So one time I went up to my friend's house up in Virginia, and he was like, man, and I was still living in North Carolina. He was like, man, why don't you come back and live in Virginia? Because I had worked with him at the Marriott Suites back in the day. And so he was like, man, come on back. He's like, I said, man, I'm down in North Carolina. He's like, man, I can get you a job. Man, you can stay with me. I got a 2-bedroom apartment. I live by myself. Man, come on back. I said, man, I don't know about that. I said, but I'll think about it. So I went back down to North Carolina, thought about it for probably about 3 days. And then I called him. I said, hey, man, you know what? I like the little offer you was talking about. I'm gonna go ahead and come back. He was like, all right, bet. I said, I'll be back in like a week. He was like, all right, cool. So I came back, I packed up everything, dropped everything I was doing, job, everything, went up to Virginia. And he was like, once I got there, went to his house, he was like, hey man, hey, my bad, I ain't really know you was coming. He said, I got a roommate. I was like, you got a roommate? He's like, yeah. And he'll be here in like 2 weeks. I said, man, he's like, so, and he already paid, so I ain't gonna be able to let you stay here. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And of course I was not happy, but I was cool though. I was cooling, but I was not happy. He was like, but you can sleep on my couch until you find a spot. And I was like, all right, cool. I said, I'll say, so tomorrow let's go ahead and figure out what's going on with this job situation you told me. So all right, so we went to his job, talked to his boss, and the boss was like, man, we ain't hiring. I said, man, what? Y'all ain't hiring? I said, dude. And the job was at a trash company. Basically, delivering trash, but he worked in like the front office. And so I was like, man, dude, you told me I could get a job, you told me I could get a spot at your place, and now everything's falling through. And he was like, man, I'm sorry, man, I don't know what to tell you. I said, well, you know what them dudes doing over there at the trash truck in that area? It was another part of the facility. I said, what about them, man? I'll work over there with them. He was like, nah, you don't want to do that, man. You don't want to be with all that trash and stuff, smelling all that trash. I said, hey, I'll do whatever it takes to make money. And so he was like, all right, cool. So he hooked me up with the supervisor over there. Long story short, got the job. I was working on the back of the truck. Probably some of the more physical labor as a regular job, civilian job that I had endured. But at the same time, we had fun. But there was long hours, it was salary work. It was good money, but it was crazy. Next thing, I didn't have an apartment. And so my boy let me stay there for about a week, and then his friend came and I stayed about another week. And then his friend was like, apparently, I don't like him living on the couch. He got to go get his own spot. And I was like, man, all right, cool, man. I told him, I said, man, you know what, man, I got an apartment. But I'm gonna tell you, I tried, just like I did back in the day, I tried to get an apartment in Virginia, but now I have more credit, but I didn't have enough credit to get an apartment. Now I'm gonna tell you, I don't know if it was because of who I was or where I was, but they just wouldn't rent to me. And I had a job and I had money, but they still didn't want it. They wanted credit and I didn't have it. So I decided to go ahead and just tell him, hey man, I got an apartment. And I moved out and I started staying in my car. And that's what it was. I was in a little Ford Escort with a little hatchback back in the day, and it was straight. So what I would do was I had a storage facility, and what I did with that storage facility, I decided to go ahead, put all my stuff in the storage facility. At night, I had a health club membership, and I would go at night, play basketball, work out a little bit, and then I would go shower up, and I would go get in the car and I would sleep until in the morning. And then I go to work and I do it again. Now on the weekends sometimes I would get me a little Roach Motel, couple dollars, and that worked out for me too. And then also I had my supervisor invited me sometimes to drink at his house. You know, he lived with his wife and he had a downstairs, basically the downstairs was by itself. It had its own room, nice little area. So he said, you can stay down here if you want. We drunk, hung out, talked, hung out, did what we do. And then that was cool too. So in between all the different things that I was doing, and this happened for like 8 months. I did this for 8 months and I was like, man, after a while I was just like, yo, what am I doing? How long is this gonna last? So I decided to go ahead and get married and move to Hawaii. And once I moved to Hawaii, I ended up having a baby. And that's what led me to be like, yo, I ain't got no health insurance, I ain't got no money. Didn't really have a good job at the time. I was working at Pearl Harbor, but I was making like $11 an hour, and it was just crazy. In Hawaii, if you know anything about Hawaii back in the day, Hawaii is expensive. And similar to the United States now, and Hawaii is expensive. So if you sit up here trying to live off $11 an hour with a family, it was almost impossible. So I started thinking, let me go visit my boy who lived in, at the time, this is the same boy that was in North Carolina, but he moved to Alabama, which was Redstone, Alabama. He was like, man, come holler at me. So I went and talked to him. He was like, man, look, he was married at the time, had a baby, and his wife, you know, she was cool and everything. And I went and visited them, with the whole family went and visited them. We was like, yo, all right, okay. So I said, man, you living? He's like, dude, you need to get back in the military. He said, I got back in, but he was in the AGR program. And he was like, I got back in, you should do it too. And I said, man, I hate the Army. I ain't never getting back in the Army. And the reason being was because of infantry. Infantry, he was like, but the Army ain't all about infantry. You can do other jobs. I said, man, no, I don't want that. I told myself I wasn't ever getting back in the military. He was like, man, you need to go ahead. Look, come to the computer with me. He said, come to the computer with me and sit down right here and look. He said, if you get in the Army, with you being married, with the dependents, you can make this much money because your family's in Hawaii. And at the time, he was telling me about BAH, COLA, and things like that. And it was like, wow, this is crazy. The money was just, it was a lot. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I said, all right, man, I'll give it a thought. So I thought about it and I said, you know what? I'll go ahead and do it. Because like I said, I ain't had no health insurance and I needed some steady income and I needed a place to stay and whatnot. So after that, I tried to get back in. And once I tried to get back in, went to the MEP station, went to recruiter, talked to them, and everybody was like, all right, this is what it is. Tried to get in, but I had a little hiccup. They said, you got high blood pressure. I said, wow, high blood pressure? He said, yeah. So he said, go in the back, lay down for about 2-3 hours, and let's see if it goes down. He said, relax, don't think about nothing, no stress, no nothing. I was all right, cool. So once I did that, 3 hours later, my blood pressure still high. He was like, all right, we can't sign you up. So I left. He said, come back after you get a doctor's note with 3 consecutive low blood pressures. So at the time I was at my pop's house and my stepmom, she gave me some blood pressure medicine, got my blood pressure down. And then after that, went to a doctor, got a doctor's note, got it signed. And I went back to the MEP station and that's how I rejoined. I rejoined as a 77 Fox fueler, which today they call 92 Fox. And I was stationed in Korea. So after that, I didn't have to go back to basic training, but I did have to go back to AIT to learn a new job, which was cool, but I was kind of like the old guy. Yeah, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? While I was at AIT, I ended up having my second baby, which was my son. So that was more expenses that we had to deal with. So after I did that, everything was cool. Finished my training, went to Korea. The training was cool, tried to get promoted. The money was straight because I was still getting money from my family living in Hawaii. So everything was cool. And I was like, man, this is the life. So I decided to go ahead and extend in Korea. And at this time, I rejoined in 2002. I was in Korea in 2002 to 2005. I extended. Korea is normally only a 12-month rotation, but I kept extending. At the time, you could extend, and you get extra money for extending. And at the time, I didn't have much money, so I was like, hey, I'll go ahead and extend. After Korea, we got deactivated and moved to Fort Hood, Texas. And I'm gonna stop right there, and I'm gonna let y'all know that that's gonna be a part of part 3 about my Fort Hood, Texas journey and what I ended up doing while I was in the military. So I'm gonna need y'all to stay tuned once again, hang out with us. I'm gonna bring my wife back and we're gonna go ahead and finish this thing on out. All right, everybody, got my wife back with me.
I'm back.
She's back. All right, so we're gonna do a nice little recap. All right, so we talked about the 3 things that led me to getting back into the military. First thing was being a bootleg promoter. Second, homelessness. And the third thing was I got married, had a baby, didn't have insurance, so I had to go ahead and join the military. Those things, once again, like I said before, are 100% true. You okay, baby?
Dime.
She's pregnant. So those things are 100% true, and I'm gonna tell y'all, this was my life. It was not easy. My whole life has not been easy, but at the same time, when you come out on the other side, this was my path. And my path was never an easy path from the time I was a kid until now. It's always gonna continue to be a grind. And now things are starting to pan out. Got my wife here, and y'all seeing the fruits of the labor. That's what it is. Y'all say, oh, he got a gorgeous wife. Oh, he's living a life in Dominican Republic. But I'm just trying to share with y'all some of the things that led up to me getting to this point and being with my wife and my family. All right, everybody, keep it easy, keep it breezy, and we out.